Welcome, everybody. This is Michael Winiger, and thank you for tuning in to another segment of Toxic Free Friday. And today, what we're going to be talking about is toxic free compensation plans. Now, this could be a mini series. This thing could go on for a year when we talk about compensation plans, because there are many, many compensation plans out there in the networking industry. I've been a consultant for 22 years to the biggest companies in the world in this industry, doing things like internal infrastructure, designing, writing, fixing the compensation plans, working with compliance. So there's a lot of things you really need to look for when it comes to compensation plans, because you got to look at your long-term income. Where is your money going to be made long-term? Because in this industry is an industry where no matter what company you look at, when it's all said and done, that company is just a huge organization of happy wholesale customers. And that is where your sustainability, your residual income, that's going to come forever. And if that's not set up properly on the back end, you're not going to like life as it is in this industry based on not reading the compensation plan properly. Now, we can go through a lot of things, but talk a little bit about the binary compensation plan. It's the baby of compensation plans in the industry, meaning it's been around the least amount of time, but it's made more millionaires than all the other compensation plans added together. And I've been asking you guys to write in and send me messages on what you would like for me to talk about. And Chris Nofto wrote in that he says, I really don't think others in the industry get the importance of no flushing and a 100% matching bonus to unlimited levels. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. And let me tell you about binaries, right? Because they are designed with two teams, but things that you want to watch out for in this industry with binaries. When you see a compensation plan where they tell you can only make so much money per week, right? Because that's on the back end. And there's a lot of cycling. You want to avoid cycling because you're trying to have things match up and align properly, whether on this leg or that leg and that leg or this leg, it doesn't matter. And then you cycle. And then they tell you can only cycle so many times per week. But here's what they do once you max that out. They say, well, we'll give you another position, and we'll put that position above you. And then we're going to allow you to go out there and do it all over again. But now we have a problem, because now you have to build three legs, because you got the two here that you're building and you've maxed out the cycle. So when they put another position above you, yeah, you might have you yourself are on your own power leg, but now you got to pay for two qualifying orders, and you got a now third leg that you have to now start juggling, right? You're like this. And then if that ever maxed out, now you're all over the place. Not good. Not good at all. Avoid cycling, avoid flushing. A lot of people try and put a spin on this flushing and say, well, that's not, a company should flush, because then what that does is it motivates that person to work. No, it doesn't. It actually puts that person in fear mode. So he's working so hard to hopefully not have that. And I've seen people lose millions of dollars overnight. True story. Person goes to sleep on a Friday night, wakes up on a Saturday morning, $1.3 million. Gone. Flushed. Who got that money? The company. The owners. Went in their pocket. They took that money from you. There's no need to flush. There's no need to cycle. There's no need to cap. There's no need to purge. There's no need to balance. And there is no need for positions that have to be earned. Because when it looks good on paper, wow, if I can get to that top position, which only 1% can ever get there, and it's usually the 1%, the people that got in the beginning are the 1%ers, because this is a business of numbers, simple numbers. Simple addition, second grade addition, right? 1 + 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. You want to be on top of the pile instead of the bottom of the deck, because anywhere in between, it lessens your chances of being one of the leaders in that company. Can you become one? Yeah. Extremely hard? Yes. And sometimes impossible? A lot of time, right? And so you want to look at all that. Now, as I was saying, think about this with these positions in these network marketing companies, because I have a problem with that myself. Because here's what I think. You can look at this compensation plan and you're at this position, and then if you do this, and then you're here and that, if you do there and this and that, you're here. And in order to reach the top position, you need 55 giraffes, a couple koala bears, 19 grandmothers and 45 children and all this volume. And then you're at the top level. And let's just say, for some reason, you miraculously did all these circus acts to get to that top position. And you go out there, and let's just say the month of July 1st, right? So the month of July, a person has been in the company for 10 years, and he's been at the top position. And now here comes a person in July 1st, and he's only been in the company 10 minutes. And so the person that was in for 10 years goes out for the month of July. He works 20 hours for the month, and he brings $100,000 in the door. And the person that got involved into the company that's 10 minutes old, he's excited. So he works 20 hours for the same month and brings $100,000 in the door. Why should you not get paid the same? You both did the same amount of work. You both brought the same amount of money in the door. But because somebody did all these little tricks and circus acts and cartwheels and backflips and all these gimmies, gotcha, hoops, hurdles, headaches, trap doors, and secret passageways to get up here, he maxes everything out, and you only get a little bit of your money? Let me tell you something. Who do you think gets that from the point that you didn't get paid all the way to the top? Where does all that money go to? Not somebody in the organization. All that money goes directly to the owner, to the owners. And I think that's not fair. I think that you need to keep the company alive, absolutely, but you need to pay people properly, because they tell you in this industry that in order to have success, go out there and help a lot of other people become successful, and you'll get what you want. But how can you help other people become successful when you're worried about, oh my gosh, I got to get to the next level. It's almost the end of the month. I got to do all this, and I got to bring some more in, and I got to do this much volume, and I got to try and do these balancing acts, and hopefully, no, it shouldn't be like that, because now you're not focused on the person that you're trying to help succeed. You're sitting there trying to do all this stuff to get a little bit more of the money that you brought in the door. It doesn't even make sense, because you should be able to create success for somebody. And if you do that enough times, then that creates success for you. Now, here at Asante Organics, we felt the best way that could happen is, one, we don't have all these levels. Everybody gets paid the same. If you've been in here for 10 minutes, or if you've been in here for 10 years, and you bring in, and you go out there and you build a business, that's your business, not mine. You build an organization, that's your organization, not mine. You bring all this money in the door, that's your money, not mine. So you should be able to tap it out. Whether you've been here for 10 years or 10 minutes, you get paid the same if you've done the same amount of work and produced the same amount of effort. That, I believe, is fair. and no capping, and no cycling, and no balancing, and no purging, and no flushing. Why should somebody flush? That's your bank account. People shouldn't be in your bank account taking your money and telling you, if you don't do all this stuff by this amount of time or do all this, we're going to take it for ourselves. That's greed. We don't operate from a place of greed here at Asante Organics. We don't do any of that. But we felt that in order for you to help somebody's success, because when you bring somebody in to the business, you're connected, you're invested, you're vested into that person. Why not do this? We'll give you a 100% matching bonus check on anybody that you personally bring into the business. Now you're going to want to get somebody to success as fast as possible, because not only are you making all your money and your other bonuses, but you're matching checks 100%. Name one company in this industry that's ever done that. And I can tell you that right now. How many? Zero. None. How many do you think are going to do that? Zero. None. Because they, I believe, again, we operate out of a service heart, not only from a product standpoint. And how you can find that out is read the ingredients. 100% chemical free, 100% toxic free, and certified organic and well-crafted living products. And I believe from a income standpoint, treating everybody the same and maxing out the compensation plan for everybody. It proves two things. One, it can be done in any company. Then you have to ask why. And two, nobody wants to leave when they see the kind of money that you can make here at Asante. And to infinity. Never stop. Never. In the beginning, you do a lot of work that you think you're not getting paid for. So in the end, you do a lot of work. I'm sorry. In the beginning, you do a lot of work that you think you're not getting paid for. So in the end, you get paid for a lot of work you never have to do. It's a 3 to 5 year commitment and very focused commitment. And you can be financially set. Retired for the rest of your entire life. Every network marketing company is just a big, huge organization of happy wholesale customers. Now, how are you going to keep that customer? You're going to have to keep that customer by making sure your products fall into some category, which we'll talk about at a later date. But remembering that this is a big, huge, happy organization of wholesale customers, you also have to remember some point in time with consumer awareness going through the roof, consumer awareness is rising, that someday these people are going to turn that product around and start reading those ingredients. And if they can identify any ingredient that they should not be putting on themselves or into themselves, you've lost the customer. And then they'll tell people, and then they'll tell people, and it'll start spinning out of control like crazy. Well, how can that happen, Mike? Simple. I remember back in the 1990s, in the middle 90s, all the way through the 2000s, a lot of juice companies were out there. Everywhere you look, here a juice, there a juice, everywhere a juice. And they're gone. Most of them are gone. And the other ones are hanging on by thread. Because when we get in a stressed economy, the first thing that goes is the luxury. Then we moved over into the shake business. And where did those companies go? Again, because there were focused on one thing, but they didn't take the time to create a quality product. And then issues. When people started turning around those labels and reading in every circumstance what was in there. Here's what I believe. We have proven that every single product in the world can be made 100% chemical-free, 100% toxic-free, and with certified organic and well-crafted ingredients. So, if you want to know how good your company is, you need to turn those products over and read those labels, because that's the sustainability. That's the viability. That is the longevity of your business. And with the consumer awareness moving into another direction, you have to then meet the supply and demands of where that consumer awareness is moving to have a long-term business. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for watching this episode of Toxic Free Friday and learning how to maybe examine compensation plans a little bit better and products and where your longevity is going to be, so you're in the business of actually helping people instead of convincing people. Because after they're convinced, from whatever you might have on the front end, it's the back end that's going to pay you for the rest of your time. Thank you again. God bless you, your families, your businesses, and until next time, keep those suggestions coming in, and I'll answer them every Friday. And that wraps it up for another episode of Toxic Free Friday.